Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and today I am doing a very large haul. Not as many titles, well there's a lot of titles, but there's also a lot of copies of each of those titles. So basically what I did is I participated in, or I took advantage, maybe that's the right word, I took advantage of a sale on chapters for Viz media titles. So all of these are going to be from Viz, and they were having a sale. I think it was something around the buy one get one 50% off. It was actually a better sale than if I bought off of Right Stuff, so I went a little bit deeper than I normally would. And it's probably good that I did, because next year I'm not going to be going quite as deep into budget. My budget is going to be reduced significantly in the comics area next year, just because I'm doing some other kind of aggressive savings next year, and unfortunately that means I have to sacrifice some comics, but it's not a big sacrifice because I have tons in my room that I need to read, and obviously from here you'll be able to see I have tons of manga that I'm adding to this room that I can read, so it's not a big hardship, it's just that there's so many cool titles coming out that I really want to read. At any rate, let's get into it. I will show you what I've got. A lot of these just continue series that I've already, been buying. I think I've only got one new series in here, and at least two of them complete series, so it's sort of catching up on all the Viz releases. I think the only thing that I'm not caught up to, at least at the point of making this order, is Kuroko's Basketball, and at this point in time that is going to be left on the back burner. I probably won't pick up any more Kuroko's Basketball at least until 2020. You won't be seeing any more of that added to my collection. I haven't read very much of it. It wasn't my favorite when I was reading it, and it's quite long, so I have other priorities, and I am going to have to prioritize a little bit more next year, but at the moment everything else that I'm collecting from Viz is currently up to date. So let's see what we've got. Probably the most exciting thing in this haul, and I'm going to start with it, and probably not the most exciting for pretty much anyone else, is Skip Beat Volume 41 by Yoshiki Nakamura. This is a great volume. It's a great volume. It's got all of the things about it that I love from, Volume 3 and Volume 4. It's got all of that romantic tension and all of the the great character development and the strong female empowerment, and it's just really, really wonderful, this volume. I am not at all sad that this is continuing on, even though it is at volume 41. I don't mind that this romance is being kind of dragged out. It is just so delicious to read, and I cannot wait until volume 42. One of the things I am not going to be doing going forward is I'm not going to be buying or pre-buying the Japanese volumes of this. This is one where I actually bought the volume in Japanese and then would attempt to read it, and then would buy it in English and then read it, just because my budget going forward is going to be tight, as I've mentioned before, so that is one of the things I'm not going to do. So it is going to be a longer gap between more Skip Beat for me. After I read this volume, I actually just felt really inclined to reread the series. I reread the entire series since getting this volume. It took me 3 days. It's just really, really wonderful. I love it to death. It's one of the best. Oh, I might have lied. I think I've got two new series in here. One of them is Ran and the Grey Wolf by Aki Irie. I picked this up because I saw so many people whose taste I really respect on Twitter talking this up before it was even released. Before, I think just when it was announced that it was getting licensed, I saw this just go crazy on my Twitter, and I was just like, well, I don't know anything about this title, but if everybody's so excited about it at the date of its announcing the license, I've never heard of it, that means it must be good, and so that is the only reason I've picked it up. All I've done so far is flip through it. The art in it looks pretty good. Sort of looks like so. I believe it is about a witch, and here's another good page. So the art looks good in it. So this is basically, I just read the flap, this is basically about a young girl who wants to become a sorceress like her mother. She does, I guess, have some magical ability, and transforms herself using magic shoes or something. I don't know. She transforms herself into looking like an adult, but of course she's a child on the inside, and so you know, all of the shenanigans that happen. I can't wait to read this, but probably wouldn't have been something that I would immediately have been drawn to if not so many people that I respect online hadn't been talking this up. I got the next volume of Requiem of a Rose King by Kanno. I think this one is being translated by... yeah, this one is being translated by Jocelyn Allen, who I follow on Twitter, and it's really interesting to follow her. I definitely go and recommend it. I am really looking forward to it. She says it gets darker and darker as you proceed into the series. Kanno is really good at actually drawing a dark shoujo story, and so I'm really looking forward to it. Plus it's got the historical elements and some other kind of really interesting plays on gender, so she just writes a really complex and good shoujo manga. So yeah, I can't wait to read this. I have only read the first possibly 2-3 volumes of this story. I am not, like, I don't feel like I need to read it today. I definitely can wait. I want to binge read it when I do. The next time I pick it up, I'll have to start at volume 1. But this is a series that I will definitely keep buying into the next year. I am continuing buying Platinum End by Tsugumi Ohba and Takeshi Obata. I don't have any particular feelings towards this duo, so I don't really care one way or the other. I do think that the covers are pretty. I thought that the concept of it was interesting, but this is probably one that unless it finishes next year, I probably won't buy any more volumes of this next year. But during this haul, I bought volume 4, volume 5, and volume 6. That one's kind of hard to see. There you go. It's a little busy, but it continues to have that kind of reflective cover, which is really pretty. And yeah, I don't know how the series goes. I haven't heard really great things from most people, but I think when shonen is concerned, these kind of shonen jump titles, I think people get quite passionate about them, so it's hard to trust people's reviews. I bought the next 2 volumes of Yona of the Dawn, so I got volume 13 and volume 14. This is by Mizuho Kusanagi. I haven't read very much of this. Volume 1, possibly. I don't have too much to say about it. It's a story about a young girl who loses her kingdom because she's betrayed, and I think then having to kind of surround herself with some helpers to get her kingdom back. I believe that is what the story's about. And probably the slowest releasing series in my collection, I have the next volume. This is volume 26 of Kaze Hikaru by Taeko Watanabe. This is a josei manga, josei historical romance, basically about characters in the Shinsengumi, which are a group of sort of martial samurai in the Meiji era. It was really delightful when I was reading it. I haven't read it since it started releasing. I probably read the first 8 or 9 volumes and I haven't read it since. And this comes out maybe, what, twice a year? Is that how often it's coming out? I don't feel like I buy it very often, but I felt like I was waiting for it to finish, and now it comes out so... It just comes out so slowly, I just don't know if I should bother waiting or if I should just start reading it. I don't know. I really want to read it. It's definitely my kind of story, but I've waited this long. Probably could wait some more. The other title that I started buying is Shortcake Cake by Sue Morishita. I got volume 1 and volume 2. I did read volume 1 already, and it was very cute. It has a very, it has one of those main female characters who just seems very sure of herself, very, kind of not emotional, just sort of makes decisions and, you know, can live with them and she doesn't kind of draw drama to herself. So I think it's going to be kind of a slice of life, living in a dorm, but with a character who isn't obnoxious or stupid, which, you know, shoujo manga, you know, heroines often are. So this is a type of character that I really, really like to read about. but we will see. I got the next 2 volumes of Dead Demon Dededede Destruction by Inio Asano. These are really nice production, but they are quite skinny, so this one runs at $20 Canadian. It's pretty expensive. Unless I see it up for a sale, I probably won't be buying any in the new year, unless it's amazing. But Inio Asano and I have a little bit of a rocky relationship. I bought the two volumes. It looks quite nice, and it is an attractive looking series. I certainly will want to keep collecting. I know that I will, but I might wait until next year. Depending on how I feel about these, I haven't read any of it yet. I bought the next 3 volumes of Queen's Quality. This is by Kyousuke Motomi. This is the continuation of QQ Sweeper, and the same author as Dengeki Daisy and Beastmaster. I think those are the only kind of 2 that I can think of. This is an interesting, somewhat dark story. It has a fantasy element I'm very curious about, and it feels more new and fresh than I was expecting, because when I was reading QQ Sweeper, which was the first 3 volumes of the series, I thought, oh, I've read this before, and I've read this from her before. But all of a sudden, in volume 4 or volume 1 of Queen's Quality, something happened, something in the changing the magazine, changing in the name, changing the direction, just stepped this manga up so much. So I'm really excited and eager to read more of it. So I got volume 3, 4, and 5. I got the next 3 volumes of Takane and Hana. This is by Yuki Shiwasu. And this is one of those titles that, unless it's on sale, or unless it completes next year, I probably won't buy any more of it. Or at least I won't buy any more of it next year. I will wait until 2020. 2020 I'm going to have a big shopping list, but 2019 I'm going to be quite a bit more selective. This is not my favorite series, but I thought, this is a good sale. I want to catch up on everything, and that's what I did. So Takane and Hana is basically the story about a girl who takes the place of her sister at an omiai marriage matchmaking. The person that she's meeting is about 20 years older than her, 15 years older than her. I think he's about 30, she's about 15-ish, and they start a relationship. The relationship, I think, is fairly innocent. It's mostly him being incredibly juvenile and her being sneaky? I don't know. Playing tricks. I think there's a lot of shenanigans in this one. I think it's more of a comedy than a romance, just sort of to make that age gap a little more comfortable for some people. But yeah, this is volume 3, then I have volume 4, and volume 5. I don't know how long this series is, so we'll see if I end up collecting any more in the new year. And then more shoujo manga. I got the next 2 volumes of The Water Dragon's Bride. This one is quite a pretty cover, particularly with those water-like fish. That's a nice illustration. This is by Ray Toma. I got 6 and 7. Yep, 6 and 7. This is the story about a girl who's transported from modern-day Japan into ancient Japan, sort of ancient Japan, and then transported into the world of the gods as a sacrifice. I haven't read very much of it, though. And then this story is one that my sister will be pleased that I'm continuing to buy. And I probably will have to keep buying it because I know that she's really enjoying it. I haven't read very much of it, though. This is The Demon Prince of Momochi House by Aya Shouoto. This is volume 9, 10, 11, and 12. It's very bright, reflective. This is a story, it's very similar to Kami-sama Kiss. It's about a demon boy, or a boy who lives in sort of a shrine, and a girl who becomes the god of the shrine, and he can't actually leave. And so she stays, I think, to keep him company or to be his god. I don't really remember. It was fairly cute. I wasn't terribly interested in it, obviously, but I continued to buy it because my sister is really enjoying it. So I will keep buying it. Probably will continue buying it until it's finished. Hopefully this isn't a super long one, though. And then this one completes the series, but again, another shoujo manga. This is Behind the Scenes by Bisco Hattori, the same author as Ouran High School Host Club. This is basically the story about a college club that does set design, and they're fun. It was quite cute, and it is finished in 5 volumes, which is wonderful. So this is volume 4, and then I also got volume 5, finished a series. That's wonderful, and then I can finish reading it. So I think I've read the first 2 or 3 volumes of this, so this one shouldn't be hard to pick up and read to the end. Now on to some shonen manga. This is a long series, and it is releasing so quickly, and I've only read the first volume, and I am so behind on this one. It's Haikyuu by Haruichi Furudate. I got volume 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and it just keeps going. 22, 23, 24, you're getting bored yet? 25, 26, 27, and 28, and I can almost guarantee that there's at least 4 more volumes already out because this one's releasing ridiculously quickly. I don't know how long this is, but I don't know. It's going so fast. So I really gotta get on it and start reading this already. I can't imagine this one's gonna take very long to read though. I bet this is 2 days of reading. And this one I keep buying even though I haven't started reading it yet, and it's also quite long now. And I really need to get into it because I know that it is going to continue to be very long. Because it has been going on forever. And that is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. These ones are Stardust Crusaders Part 3. And I got Volume 3, Volume 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I like that cover. Although I don't know who the character is, so maybe I shouldn't like it. And 9. And Viz is really doing a nice job with these. So even though I haven't read it, I don't mind. I don't mind that I haven't, that I'm buying them, even though I haven't, because I will read them. There's good reason to read them, even if I'm not confident I'll like them. I'm looking forward to it. I was actually planning on reading them this year. If you were paying attention, one of the 12 titles I was going to read this year was JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, and I didn't. I think I only read 2 off of my list of 12, so yeah, I don't think I'll be getting to it by the end of the year either, so hopefully next year. But this is actually a title that even though I'm not reading it, and even though my budget is small, I still might continue to try and pick this one up. Just because I don't want to get very far behind on these, and I'm not confident that this particular edition will stay in print as long as some of Viz's other titles. So this is one I'm going to just keep my eye on. My last big haul, I had bought the rest of the series, or caught up. That is Blade of the Immortal by Hiroki Samura. I ended up buying volume 1 because they were out of stock on Right Stuff and they wouldn't ship my package because volume 1 was never restocking, even though it was in stock everywhere else. So I ended up picking it up at Chapters. It is not a Viz title, so it wasn't part of the sale, but I figured this is one that I don't want to miss out on, and I certainly don't want to miss out on volume 1 if I'm going to buy the rest of the series. I know I'm going to like the series though, I am very confident about that. And then my last title, and this one is quite a large stack, but it is completing a series for me. This is kind of a weird title for me. I'm not entirely sure that I was going to keep picking this up, but because I've bought so much of it already, and because the first half of the series is so nostalgic to me, I thought, you know, this is the time, this is my opportunity to just pick it up, buy the remainder, it'll be off my mind, I don't have to worry about it again. So, and I got it for a really good deal, and particularly the last half, which you will see in a second. And so that title is Bleach by Tite Kubo. Now, this is a title that I became friends with one of my friends over. We met just when this was beginning to serialize, and we had met just at that time, and it was really kind of fun because she started work at my work, and we were basically the same age minus a couple of days, and we were into the same things, and it was just one of those like really bizarre, surreal kind of things where I was just like, you know what, you're gonna be my new best friend from now on. So I don't think we are best friends, but it was really fun to become friends with her, particularly over this title. So I've seen quite a lot of the anime. That's certainly what we were both into at the time, and I'm not particularly interested in the second half of the series. I got kind of bored kind of through the middle, but I am happy to complete this finally, and now I can actually read it. I'm kind of looking forward to reading it and just sort of seeing the entire series all in one go, because I have only seen like bits and pieces of it over time, and yeah, it would be good to just sort of like get this series complete in my mind too. So at any rate, I picked up what I was missing. So starting at volume 37, 38, 39, 41. I potentially already had volume 40. I can't remember off the top of my head. I did have a couple of random volumes, and so I might already have it, but if not, it should be on the way. So I will double check to make sure that I'm not thinking my series is complete. But at any rate, volume 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and 48. And then the remaining actually I bought in the box set. So this starts at volume 49, and as it turns out, I haven't actually opened this yet, so I will do that now. It's a pretty attractive looking box set. It's pretty huge. It does contain volumes 49 to 74, plus a Bleach premium mini book, an exclusive full color two-sided poster. Just what I wanted. So here is the inside, and you can see there's a bit of a poster here on the inside of Ichigo. It's a pretty nice book. Certainly a more economical way to buy manga, particularly if you're looking for a way to store it, because it already comes in a box. You can just put it in a corner somewhere. But yeah, volume 74, and now I'm complete. I can read it, and I am hoping to do some sort of long reading, possibly reading vlogs on this channel, and maybe that will be kind of a candidate for that. I can read through the entire series in a vlog. Yeah. So I'm happy to have it, and it was really coincidental that this box set just came out right before this sale, so I was able to pick it up because I have been kind of humming and hawing about it. I did actually have a couple of volumes from this box already, you know, like 59 and 62, just like 4 volumes, like super random, because I had bought them at like a secondhand sale or something for really cheap, and so I had just a couple of volumes, and I realized that this is probably going to be cheaper, particularly because the sale was so good. I ended up getting a really good discount on this box. So that's what I got. Basically, the catalog of Viz is now in my bedroom, and yeah, I have a lot to read. I don't think that I'm going to be doing a lot more hauls like this, but I do have 2 more hauls coming up. Probably by mid-January we'll see both of them. I'm waiting for some titles to release from Right Stuff in an order that I put on in the summer. It was for their 7 Seas sale way back in the summer, and they have one title that's been pushed back and now is being released in January. So hopefully it releases in January, because that's when my order will come out, at the beginning of January. So you'll see that at that point. And then I do have some bits and pieces that I've been collecting together in sort of a collective haul, which we will see probably closer to middle to the end of December. So there are some hauls coming up, but yeah, this is not going to be the norm, particularly for next year. It is going to be a significantly different collecting year, and I will have a discussion, sort of a what this channel will look like probably in the new year, video going up at some point, so hopefully you will be around to hear what I have to say about that. At any rate, that's what I picked up. I picked up a ton. I have huge stacks here of manga now to put away and find room for, and that's always a challenge. So that'll be fun. If you have read any of these titles, I would love to know what your thoughts are. If you're reading any Viz titles, since this is a Viz haul, what's your favorite Viz series that you're reading right now? And let's chat about it down in the comments. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.